Hello and welcome back to the Listening Lounge. My name is Nick Day, CEO of JJ Recruitment Group, specialist payroll and HR recruiters. Right now, there is so much noise on LinkedIn that it's hard to be heard. So I want everyone who's listening to this or watching this right now just to take a moment to relax, check in those ears and tune in, because they say the quieter we are, the more we hear, and that listening is the secret to the greatest of stories. And I've got a brilliant guest with me today. I'm joined by Fidelma McGuirk, award-winning founder and CEO of Payslip, which are a global payroll management software as a service company. They empower global employers to centralize the control of multinational payroll processes and payroll providers through smart automation. She's right at the head of the curve when it comes to global payroll technology. I'm going to ask some questions about that subject, so stay tuned. How are you feeling today, Fidelma?
Good, great to be here, Nick. Thank you very much for inviting me to the Listening Lounge. I've been listening to some of the other speakers over the last week and learning from everybody. So really good to hear the different voices from the global payroll industry. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, great to have you. I'm going to jump straight in because I read a really interesting quote, which was Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, said that due to COVID-19, they have seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in just 2 months. So as a leader of global payroll technology and as leader and CEO of Payslip, have you seen a comparative tech impact with the result of COVID-19 in the global payroll space?
Oh, absolutely. And it's such a good quotation from Satya Nadella. I find it really interesting. So what we found is that when the initial COVID impact hit and teams decentralized back to work from home, the first main objective of all of the companies was to enable their employees to communicate with each other, to share information with each other. So we saw a massive boom, obviously, in people using Zoom, Teams, GoToMeeting, and all of that kind of infrastructure for communication. From our side, Payslip, we provide automation and integration technology to multinational employers. So what we found happen was that our current clients who had additional countries to onboard accelerated the adoption of our platform into those countries. Why? Because once they have those countries being managed on our platform, it means that all of the global payroll is standardized, the documents are available, the roles and rights and access is set up, and it's all transferred very securely with all the payroll vendors. So we saw an immediate positive hit for all the current clients trying to get on the system for as many countries as possible. And then what we've seen is the second phase of automation and technology interest that's arising from COVID is people are now looking forward and saying, okay, we set up procedures with Zoom or whatever to be able to get the people talking to each other. Now it looks like this is going to be a new norm. People are going to be working from home for another 6 months, another 9 months. So what else do we need to do across our technology to enable to have proper workforce management technology? So now we see a lot of interest across multinationals that we hadn't been in touch with before, asking how can we get all of our payrolls on Payslip and how soon can we get it done so that we're ready for January 1.
Super. So it all sounds like a good problem to have for some of these people. And obviously, the new ways of working, I'm still getting to grips with it. I think the future of work actually looks really, really exciting. But from your perspective then, and based on the inquiries that you're getting at the moment, my second question is this. What business problems do global payroll technology seek to solve? So for those that are part of global technology companies, what are the major issues that we need to address at the moment?
Yeah, so there's two kind of problems. The main question that the leadership ask is, what's going on in my global payroll? Okay, so what's in the cost, what's in the trends, especially in COVID, they're saying now that we're looking at all of our workforce around the world and they're all disparate and they're separate, new labor markets are opening, we might need to furlough in some countries, we might need to save costs, we might need to invest and hire more people. What do the trends of the costs look like? So in order to actually be able to have all of your payroll costs in an available format to produce useful reports for the strategic leaders, it means that it needs to be in one house. All your global payroll data needs to be in one place, it needs to be standardized, and it needs to have some basic standardization so that they're comparative. So our technology enables that because we help them have a standard global payroll process and standard data, so they can also pull that multi-country comparative report at pay element level for the really geeky payroll person in me. What is the multi-country comparative cost of bonuses or social security? So the first main problem is reporting. They want to see what is the actual cost of our business and what strategic insights can we have. And that's from a leadership perspective. From a global payroll and a payroll operational perspective, they want to be able to see where's my payroll? What's happening? Who's doing what, where, when? What's the calendar of work? Who owns it? Can they access it? Is all the documentation and the data available to them? So it's a very operational question. How can I see who's going to do what, when, where, who did what, when, where, how the payroll is organized, and how the vendors are delivering? So they want to have that visibility of the workflow, visibility of the process, and the audit trails around what happens.
Super. Actually, I love this answer, because this ties into how I think the future of the market is going to go with automation anyway, right? It's going to give payroll leaders more opportunity to be strategic,
Absolutely.
to look at reports, analyze trends, and use that data to give real value. And that's the real key here. To deliver more value through your payroll, you need to be able to have good reporting. They need to know their costs, so they know when they can use someone like me if they need additional staff, which is great as well. Yeah. But it's a win-win. I think that the quicker people start to adopt this technology to allow them more opportunity to report, I think is fantastic. I think you put that so well. I was like, oh yes, light bulbs going off, which is great. Yeah. So last question, because since I've been doing payroll, I've been in the industry for nearly 20 years. The payroll services market, particularly globally, has always been dominated by leading aggregators. What role do you think technology plays in their solution, both now and in the future?
Yeah, so the aggregators are very important players in the market. They've developed the service probably over about 20 years. We have obviously very mature players like ADP in the market with their global view and their Streamline and Celergo offerings on the technology side. And then we have a lot of kind of smaller aggregators, but doing really well, like CloudPay, IIPay, ActivePay. So all of the aggregators at some point over the last 10 years have built a level of technology offering to their clients. And it usually it was designed to service initially a data exchange purpose. So the objective was exchange the data securely with the vendors that they have in their partner network. And then with GDPR coming in about 2 years ago, that objective extended out to the customer. So you could see that the aggregators stopped asking for data inputs to be given by spreadsheet by attachment. Instead, they started being a customer interfacing part of the platform. So that was like the main objective of what they built. And then gradually over the last few years, some of the data is available in reporting, maybe on requests, more than self-serve. So for aggregators, I would see that they should be known for what they are, which is an essential part of the industry whereby they vet payroll providers in loads of countries, they source them, they contract with them, they agree all the SLAs, and they provide a very structured managed service out to the employer who wants a single vendor model. Okay, sure. And the technology should support that delivery. And then we're separate to the aggregator. We're a different model in Payslip. Why? Because there is a segment of the market, specifically among technology companies or very mature companies, who have multiple vendors, and they know they will always want multiple vendors, either because they want to have a direct relationship, they have really complicated payroll because they want to be really innovative with their compensation elements, like the technology companies who compete for talent, or they're big companies, so they have legacy systems. They have different vendors in different countries. So then they want to bring a different level of consolidation, not by contract, but by technology, to be able to bring all the data and the process together. And that's where we fit in.
Okay, fantastic. Well, listen, it's been fantastic. I think if anyone has a global payroll right now and you're listening to this and you want to find out more about global payroll technology, then clearly Fidelma is someone they should be speaking to. So I'll make sure I link your name into the LinkedIn post. Definitely get in touch with Fidelma if you want to talk global tech.
Yeah,
clearly
happy to talk to everybody. Happy to talk to everybody. And I do think that the payroll people, whether in global payroll or in country-specific payroll, have been great frontline workers through all the COVID and have worked very long days. And I think the more technology they can have to help them is great. And I hope they all got to take some holiday, as much of the holidays is feasible at the moment. And best of luck to everybody going back into school season now next week.
Yeah, I second that. Well, listen, thanks again for joining me today on the Listening Lounge, Fidelma. Of course, every good conversation starts with good listening, and I'll be bringing you another episode of Listening Lounge again real soon. Thanks again.
I'll be listening. Thank you. Bye, Nick.